Hi, and welcome to this demonstration video of how we can accelerate Power BI and getting value with that with the CluedIn Data Hub. Let's log in. So we're met with our classic CluedIn dashboard telling us everything that we need to action across our different data flows. And of course, we need to start with pulling in data from somewhere. So I'm going to head over to our connectors page. And what are the classic, sources of data when we're, wanting to fuel, data warehouse or business intelligence types of use cases? And of course, the classic ones would be, things like Salesforce CRM, and maybe we've got, a lake that we need to pull data from. Maybe we've got, an off-the-shelf lake that we purchased. Of course, it could be things in your industry like transactions. Now, one of the common ones that we work with is customer data. So I'm going to head over, I'm going to search for our customer data that exists within the HubSpot CRM. I'm going to connect CluedIn to that data source. I'm going to hope the browser has, yes, it has remembered my token. And I'm going to authenticate with HubSpot. Now that's going to give me an indication to what type of data is going to be integrated and pulled over to the CluedIn Data Hub, so we can then send it over to our BI solutions. So this all looks good. It looks like I've got deals and organizations and phone calls, etc. So I'm going to click next, and I'm going to want to set up these real-time webhooks. So as soon as the data is in HubSpot, whether it's a new contact or a new customer, I want that data to be pushed over to the Data Hub, and I want to make that instantly available to the BI solution. So that full flow of source to target, I want CluedIn to be able to handle that situation. So of course I'm going to enable these real-time webhooks. And then I'm going to start ingesting. Now, of course, this is going to go off, and it's going to crawl this data, pull that data in. It's going to do the standard, things that CluedIn is known for, such as like cleaning the data and normalizing the data. And so while that's happening, I can actually just go over and start to set up my connection to the Power BI system. Now, to do that, I guess you could probably think I will head over to Power BI. I'll set a data source as CluedIn. And what we like to actually do is something different. We would like to, make data so easily available to the consumers in the way that we actually push data to those systems. So I'm going to head back to CluedIn. You can see my processing has finished. We've got about 2,500 records that have come in. And you can see these notifications as well. We're going to action those in a moment. Essentially, that's CluedIn telling me that there's some work to do on that data. So you can see here it's saying that the stream is now available from HubSpot. That sounds interesting. So I can head over to my streams and I can create a brand new stream. And what I'm wanting to do is stream certain data and make it available in the Power BI system. So to do that, let's just call it something. Let's call it something like customer data. And the next is an optional step, but I'm going to set it. So what this is asking for, that you'll see in this help, is how mature do you want the data before we send it over to this target? So do you want it from source to Power BI as raw as it comes, i.e. essentially just HubSpot sending its data to Power BI? Or would you like it to go through all the standard cleaning and merging and deduplication and classification that CluedIn gives you? So of course I want that. I want to be able to send the most high fidelity data over to that consumer. So I'm going to choose the last stage, which is intelligence. So what I'm wanting to do, considering we're talking about customer data, I'm going to be sending over types of data that's organization, and I'm going to want to do a property match. Now in our world, a customer is someone who has reached the deal stage in the CRM, and that I want it equal to closed won. So I don't want it that it has ever been equal. It might be an existing customer, for example. So I'm really looking for, this is what dictates a customer for us. And the action that I want to take is that I want to make this data available to another consumer or external service. Now in this case, very similar to how I connected the HubSpot system, I've already connected to some target systems. Now in our world, you have two choices here. We could either send it directly to the data warehouse, and the data warehouse team is responsible for modeling the data, and then Power BI is a consumer of the data warehouse. That's a very standard use case with this platform. Or we can send it directly to Power BI for more exploratory, exploratory BI, which is a common use case as well. Now, as I click Save, one of the interesting things that you'll find is that the first thing I met with is, here is the quality scores of the data that I just exposed on that stream. So essentially it's taken the data that matches that filter, it's put it onto a stream, made the data available now in Power BI, and as soon as I clean the data in the CluedIn platform, those new, cleaner, more modern, updated records are going to automatically be streamed over to the Power BI system as well. So I can make sure that my BI team is always working with the latest high quality data. And actually in the data tab, you are exposed to the records that we're actually sending over. And you can also set up policies on this stream as well. You might, for example, say, I'm going to send over customer data, but I don't want personal data to be shared in the BI solution. So if we just head over to our Power BI, we're just going to log in. And what this has actually done is, if we head over to our workspace, what that should have done is delivered, there we go, it's delivered that data set to the actual BI solution, which allows me to then go and create dashboards and reports and workbooks of it. And what the interesting piece here is that, well, as the Power BI user, I haven't needed to connect to any system. I haven't need to be made aware that CluedIn is the application where our hub of data exists, rather that the owners of the data hub can push and make data available to where the consumption is actually made. Now, what the great thing here is that those notifications that I was getting through as I integrated the HubSpot data, it was starting to indicate that there was some data that maybe needed cleaning. So I'm going to click on that. And what that does is it takes me to what we call CluedIn Clean. CluedIn Clean is a tool targeted towards data engineers to be able to more standardize and normalize the data. Now, of course, CluedIn does a lot of automatic normalization, making sure that we can standardize phone numbers and locations, things like that. But there are some things, and quite a lot of things actually, that can't be automatically normalized. So essentially, CluedIn's gone out and picked the data within the HubSpot that was of low accuracy and low quality. It's actually gone off and picked the records that would be, the biggest, the records that need the most cleaning. So of course, once we clean this, we will get the biggest value out of it. So let's just take a kind of a sample column. We have a column here that's called the HubSpot contact lifecycle stage, okay? And we can start to use these drop-down features to help us fix and normalize and clean the data. These are standard data engineering tasks. Now, if I go over and I run a text filter or text faceting, essentially what I'm exposed to pretty easily is that I have some pretty denormalized data here. I've got the kind of lifecycle stage opportunity that seems to be in different spelling. Now, of course, I can fix this in line here, but what I'd rather do is have CluedIn suggest what to fix. And so a data engineer gets to use different types of techniques to start to suggest how to clean this data. And here's an example where it's pretty much picked up all the different variations of the lifecycle stage, and it's actually suggesting that we all merge it into this new cell value here, which is obviously what I'm wanting to do. So as I merge, selected, and close, CluedIn is going to not only clean that data within the CluedIn Data Hub, it's going to also stream those new fixed values over to the BI dataset that I created before. And what we'll go over in another video is that it's actually queued up the operations in what's called the Mesh API to be able to write back those fixed values to the HubSpot system where we originally had this dirty data. So I hope that was a great introduction to how you can accelerate your BI solution with CluedIn in making it easy to pull data in from different data sources, to clean it, normalize it, govern it, and easily make it available to be discovered and used in consumer platforms like Power BI.